Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Tri-County Logging. Experienced in sustainable forestry practices, Tri-County Logging can help you manage your property by keeping your woods healthy and generate income. Serving southern and mid-Michigan for nearly 50 years, TriCountyLogging.com.
Hi everyone, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Silik, and we've got an exciting all-new show in store for you this week. I'll introduce you to a guy who's doing his part to keep waterfowl decoy carving alive and well here in Michigan. You won't want to miss that story. And Jimmy and Jordan have some other exciting adventures in store for us this week.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show. We're actually going to kick off this week's episode in the northern part of the Lower Peninsula, state land, a really cool bow camp. You won't want to miss that story. After that, we're going to do a little bragging board action and see what you have been up to, what kind of success you have had as viewers in the woods and on the water. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By Greenmark Equipment. Greenmark Equipment is a John Deere dealership network in southwest Michigan and northern Indiana. Greenmark provides sales and services to farmers, commercial businesses, large property owners, and homeowners. Information about pricing and products available can be found online at greenmarkequipment.com.
By G5 Outdoors, makers of the Quest and Prime bows, manufactured and designed in Memphis, Michigan. G5 offers a line of archery bows, broadheads, and accessories on the web at g5outdoors.com.
This moment brought to you by DTE's Clean Vision.
So we're in the northeast sector of, well, I guess we're technically by all definition northern Michigan, but northeast corner. And it's October 8th, and we're doing a deer camp, an archery camp, which historically I haven't done a whole lot of. I hunted up here early on when I started hunting in Octobers, but I really didn't much the last 10 years, and I've kind of re-immersed myself in it and fallen in love with being up here when the colors are changing and there's just not a ton of hunters in the woods yet. I found that to be the case, so we're up here doing a deer camp.
Deer camp is special regardless of its location, but the Pigeon River area in early October is pretty tough to beat.
I love the landscape up here. Really, it's just absolutely beautiful. It never seems to end. No matter how much time I have, it's not enough time. And that's maybe special about it because I don't live here. I vacation here, essentially. You know, these are my vacations for the year. And honestly, I by the time the fall rolls around every year, I need like some time to be in this place to mentally recover from the the day ins and day outs. More than anything, I like the quietness of it. Public land I like because there's just so much of it. And quantity's not always that valuable, but the quality is there too. So there's not just a lot of public land, there's a lot of exceptional high quality public land. So, you know, I've been to other states and I've lived in other states that those opportunities don't exist like they do here. And so I think sometimes our local residency maybe takes a little bit of that for granted, especially when they talk about the deer hunting in the state. But I think a lot of people don't realize how fortunate we are here in our home state to have something this beautiful.
When I arrived at camp, one buck tag had already been filled, and these guys managed to capture the entire hunt on camera.
Another good set of tracks right here. This trail's pounded. They're definitely using this little land bridge between all these cattails a lot. This looks really good, actually.
Meh.
Oh, they're Michigan, baby. Yeah. Whoa. I told you they'd see us. Oh, man. Oh, dude. Good job. Good job. Oh, I hope so. Good job.
It was pretty decent.
Yeah. Nice little 8-point.
It hit this. It passed through and hit that.
Well, we're gonna go find this thing. We got about 60 people, so
60.
we should be able to find him.
That's usually what.
Woo! It's pretty good. Oh, he's not the trail camera deer. Doesn't look like. Nice. Not too shabby. There was a scrape really on the far end here where all the trails merged together, and we just worked back off that scrape tonight. Got a shot on him at the last second. It was the last opportunity, otherwise he was gone. So we're pumped. Good way to start camp.
There's no better way to start out camp than with a nice buck on the ground. There were lots of different folks coming in and out of the campfire circle throughout the night, including several people in the outdoor industry here in Michigan.
Yeah, so I've been hosting the Deer Hunter podcast now for 6 years, and I've collectively built an extension of my family out of it, really. It's people, I connect with companies and people that love to do exactly what I love to do, and I really value that. So this was an opportunity to get a big group of us together this time of year. All the whitetail productions tend to have pretty big plans for the month of November, but the front end of October was kind of open for everybody's schedule, so we were all able to get together, and it's just a great opportunity. We got a couple Michigan companies here. Prime, G5 is here, Latitude Outdoors is here, and it's just cool to see how much these guys love to do exactly what we love to do, and it makes sense that they've made it like their business out of it.
Things were pretty slow for Kevin and I from a deer hunting perspective, but one of the other guys in camp was about to have an encounter with a very nice northern Michigan buck and had a camera rolling.
what you saw?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
He did exactly what we needed him to do. Right to the point, dude.
Dude, that was awesome.
Dude.
Give me some.
Dude, let's look at, you guys see the shot?
Oh, dude, it was amazing. It looked perfect through there. How far was it?
30. 28.
He's a good buck, dude.
He's a really good buck.
He's a really good buck.
He came right to the point, dude.
Oh, I'm shaking like a leaf.
I can't believe
that. Dude.
Can you believe what just happened?
Dude, what just happened?
That's why you gotta go. That's why you gotta get up
that
and
was
go.
Awesome, man.
It's a great buck, dude.
Good job, dude.
I might.
I knew I had to get up this morning. It sucked, but
Do you think it's the one that you bumped?
It could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
It sounds like, that's a good deer.
it looks.
Let's see it.
It's a similar caliber deer.
Oh, yeah.
Nice
Good
shot.
shot.
Oh, man. Dude, that's awesome.
While what appeared to be a near perfect shot quickly turned into a long track job with lots of questions about what may have happened.
Tracked for about, 3 miles, DJ?
We're at 3.06.
3.06 miles. Lost blood, and so we called a couple dogs, and we're going to try and get them out here. We're going to go grab
These guys exhausted every effort to try and find this buck, but ultimately, the deer was not recovered. That's part of deer hunting, and even more so when you're using a bow and arrow. A few miles away, one of the other hunters in camp, who was also running a camera, was having a little bit better luck.
I'm kind of just freelancing it tonight. Freelancing, whatever, scouting my way in. There's a couple of really good swamps back in here that I want to get to. Really far walk. But that buck, we saw a big buck try to go across the road over this way. It looked like he was going down into these swamps. So I'm hoping that's where he went to. I'm just kind of going to feel my way as I go in here and see where I want to set up. So, all right, I'm all set up here. It's not a very big tree. Softball-sized tree here, but it looks freaking awesome up here, honestly. It's just this little swampy area here, maybe 100 yards across over there. And I just have a really good view of all that through there. All kinds of trails. Got me a doe in Michigan. I think I smoked her. I'm gonna hop down real quick and go look before it gets dark on me. Giant doe. Look at that thing. Really good shot on her too. I mean, just an old head on her. Look at that.
Even if you got a week, you feel like you have a lot of time. And time moves at an accelerated pace this time of year and when you're at deer camp. You know, the deer hunting's fun. The camp is fun. The scouting is fun. Just having a little bit of time to relax and recover from the stresses of normal life. And it's hard to figure out which one to prioritize during the given time of the day because you want to do this and you want to do this and you want to do that. What a great problem to have, right? So, I mean, the way that it all blends together, I'll be in a better mood for weeks to come just from spending a couple days here doing this, and I think it's important to say I think more people could, benefit from these type of activities. You see a lot of people stressed out these days, and this really grounds you back and just gives you a sense of like, hey, you know what, actually everything's great. I feel really good, and I feel like if more people participated in this, then some things might start to mend themselves, And the community aspect of it, being here with you guys, there's a bond that gets built at a hunting camp with people that you spend time with that it's hard to explain.
Whether it's in the UP or in southern Michigan, with archery equipment or with a rifle, deer camp is tough to beat. Special thanks to Kevin and the crew for letting me be a part of theirs, and for sharing their footage from the weekend. It was a fun couple of days here in Northeast Michigan.
The time-honored tradition of decoy carving is something here in Michigan that's kind of in jeopardy of fading away. Well, Dathan Skelton is here to make sure that doesn't happen.
We're just off the shores of Mesa Day Lake in Waterford, Michigan. And we're sitting in the decoy shack.
All right, what's happening? What happens out here in the shack?
A lot of things happen. Basically, try to make things out of wood, a lot of carving. Some wood burning, painting, try to bring some decoys to life for people to enjoy, also songbirds and other things. So kids grew up, I had to find a hobby, started having a little bit of money again, so just kind of actually started making decoys out of foam, and it kind of progressed, and I met some local carvers, and they kind of pushed me. The painting part came real easy, so they were able to show me how to carve, and then it kind of just blossomed from there. So I have a passion for birds, and my aunt bought me a field guide, I think when I was like maybe 10, so I became obsessed with it, and then took ornithology classes through high school and college, biology, all kinds of things. But I was also a bird hunter and a duck hunter. And I always had a fascination for duck decoys because my mom would buy them at garage sales because we didn't have a lot of money. So she would buy me these old decoys, and I would, cry line them up and hunt them. And so that's kind of where it started from. And then as I got older, it's kind of more of an art appreciation now than anything art and history. Decoys, people collect them now. And that really didn't happen until I think about the late 30s. It kind of started. And then into the 40s and the 50s. So decoys were made as tools. They were made, as a resource. People didn't go, oh, that would look good on my kitchen table. They made them out of necessity. So, and they have what they called schools. So you had different locales, and they had all these different schools. So for example, Mount Clemens School, because of Lake St. Clair and the market hunters with the canvasbacks and the redheads. You had the Anchor Bay guys, and then you had Saginaw Bay, like the little village of Wheel with Otto Mish and all these great carvers in that section. You had downriver guys. The history of it is the thing that people don't realize is a decoy tells a story. Okay, so you see this decoy, like, let's say you go into an antique shop or a collector's house, and here's this old beat up decoy, and it's just the paint's falling off of it, and it's got shotgun holes in it and all this kind of stuff. Imagine if that thing could talk and what it could tell you, the experiences, the people. And so that's what's important to me about it is, when I make something, it's kind of like you're signing your own immortality. My dream is that I carve a decoy, and in 100 years when I'm gone, my kids are gone, some guy's bumbling around in Saginaw Bay, and he finds this old ratty decoy in the woods, and he goes, what's a Dathan Skelton? So that's a really big part of it for me.
In order to show us the entire decoy making process in a short amount of time, Dathan had set up decoys in different stages of the process. After drawing out the pattern for the body and the head on blocks of wood, Dathan cuts large pieces off with a bandsaw and then draws guidelines for the beginning stages of sculpting. I asked him if he sees many young folks taking an interest in this time-honored tradition of waterfowl decoy carving.
No, and it's important that we carry on that because, most of the carvers that I know are in their 60s, 70s, even 80s or older. And, like anything, it's just like anything in the outdoors, if you don't promote it and keep it alive, it's going to disappear. Let's just say the older carvers call me the kid and I'm 48. So, so after we've had this decoy in the vise and used a draw knife and a large file or rasp, they call it, the head is pretty much done. You can use power tools, like a Dremel type power tool, or they call them a Fordham. So you would set the eye in, and this is like a 2-part epoxy. It's called epoxy sculpt. And so the eyes set in, and obviously we'd come in and clean that up a little bit and scratch off some of the epoxy when it's dry. And then, the build decal is start to carve in, and you would do finish sanding on that. Depending on how far you want to go with the bird, again, we're drawing more lines. And again, you're just going off your lines, constantly carving. The neck would be sanded and blended into the neck, so there's no seam or flat spot there. It would all be nice and natural and rounded. And after you kind of get all that done, you give it a good final sand, and you would seal it, and then you'd be on to painting. People paint a million different ways with a million different brushes. There's very artistic guys. There's guys that just slap it on, and there's guys that blend, wet blend, and there's dry blending, and all kinds of different stuff. And no 2 decoys that I make are ever alike. I guess really it's a heritage thing to me, but I'll leave you with this. When's the last time you walked into an antique store and you bought a 100-year-old plastic decoy? You probably didn't, because they probably used it for a year and it cracked, or somebody shot it and it blew apart. Yes, carved decoys are expensive, there's no doubt. You're paying for somebody's time and their talent. Materials are not cheap anymore. They're getting more and more every day. But they last if you take care of them. And it's part of our culture as duck hunters. 100 years ago, they didn't go to Sears and Roebuck and buy decoys, or JCPenney's downtown Detroit. They went and saw Ben Schmidt over in Centerline and said, Ben, I need 50 redheads for my season this year. So a big part of it is carrying on that legacy.
Later this season, we'll be joining Dathan for a Saginaw Bay hunt over his decoys. Special thanks to Dathan Skelton for carrying on the decoy carving legacy right here in Michigan's Out of Doors. Thanks so much for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you stay tuned in upcoming weeks. There's all sorts of exciting adventures headed your way this fall. We'll take you out for some more fall fishing, see what's happening out in the archery woods, and we'll do a little waterfowling. If you'd like to see where we are and where we're headed next, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is a good way to kind of keep tabs on us. You can do that through our website, our different social media platforms, as well as YouTube. So lots of places you can be checking us out. Make sure that you are joining us over the next several weeks. Say this often, but it is a great time of the year to be a sportsman here in the great state of Michigan. If we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By Alta Equipment Company, providing sales, rentals, service, and parts because uptime matters. From earth moving to landscaping and light construction, Alta offers over 50 brands across 7 Michigan locations to serve you. More information online or 844-GO-2-ALTA.
By Jay's Sporting Goods, with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's has been serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971, with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's. On the web at jsportinggoods.com. Closed captioning provided by Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land.